Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Greatest Blueprint. I am Dr. Kathleen Walls, Doctor of Clinical Psychology, leadership coach, and author. Or shall I say, I am the number one self proclaimed
Yes,
adult
you should.
children's book author, okay, of The
Hmm.
Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, a
And
hip hop
my
tale.
books are across the room. Okay, it's all
Uh-uh.
right. Hmm.
Mm-mm. And
Hmm.
you are, darling.
I am Dina Davis, LSW, licensed social worker, therapist, self-love coach. What else?
Mm-hmm.
Author.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, self-love social curator.
Oh, I like that term.
Yes, all
That
of the things. Yes.
SLC, you slick with it.
Hmm. Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. Yes.
We can create a whole situation around that. So it's
Hmm.
all good. It's all good. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am fresh back from vacation. I said,
Welcome back.
well, thank you. Thank you. I had to remind myself it was like it wasn't my only duty today, but it was one of my main duties because I had a couple appointments I needed to take care of some work stuff.
Okay.
But this was my kind of, all right, get back into the swing of
Hmm.
things moment. So now I'm starting to swing, y'all. Now tomorrow I'll be back.
You'll be in full swing
Yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow
Hmm.
I'll be yeah. No, tomorrow I'll be on a mid swing. And then
Okay.
by Thursday, I'm straight Jane of the Jungle. I'm back in
Got
full
you.
swing. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
back in it. So so how was your
Yes.
day?
My day was pretty quiet. Like I got some work done. I only had two clients today, so it was chill.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
outside
good.
of the normal drop off, pick up, mom
Mhm.
stuff. Yes, work
Mhm.
was slow, like good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. It was what was needed.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Well, we got holidays coming up. We have a couple holidays that just
Hmm.
passed, but now we got some holidays coming up. So what's that looking like for you?
Stress.
Mhm.
Just preparing, trying to get things that people are requesting and stuff. Well, the
Mhm.
kids. The kids are
Mhm.
requesting for Christmas and all of that
Mhm.
and navigating life, but with that additional like, okay, let me get the things because they're really good kids. So it's no real reason, not to. As long as I
Mhm.
had the financial ability to purchase them.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what it looks like. But I like the Christmas time. Like my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, which pets. But
Mhm.
Christmas is like, a second contender.
Okay.
Just spending time with family, creating memories, and doing the things.
Mhm.
So,
Now,
how about you?
what is it about Thanksgiving that makes it your favorite?
It's the quality time with family, and it doesn't have to necessarily need to be my family, but
Mhm.
someone's family. Just spending time together, eating, breaking bread, fellowshipping.
Mhm.
That's what I really enjoy.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say, for me it seems like people are more, what's the word? Considerate,
Hmm.
more compassionate,
Hmm.
more self aware, more
Yeah.
reflective
Hmm.
during this time. Hey, Les. So, so I definitely appreciate that. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
way that you and I live every day.
Hmm.
So it seems as like we're more, I guess, more compatible during this
Hmm.
time. I think people are more compatible with each other. They're friendlier. I remember years ago, I had run into one of the newscasters, and you know me, I'm like, "Hi, how you doing? It's good,
Hmm.
da, 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 da." And he was just like, "Oh my goodness." He was just like, "Oh, I wish people could be like." He was like, "I wish people were like this all the time." And I said, "I am."
Yeah. You
And
are.
he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't feel as though this energy should be contained to one season. I
Right.
feel like this should be our energy,
Hmm.
and it gets
Hmm.
hard sometimes to maintain it. But if we're constantly attempting to elevate and live at that level,
Hmm.
right? When there's a dip, we feel it and we pay attention to what's causing
Right.
that dip.
Yeah, that's the self-aware part. And
Right.
when we are more self-aware, we pay attention to the dips, what caused us to
Yep.
drop to the dip, and then
Yep.
what can we do to bring ourselves out of the dip.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
To raise it up. And so, which goes into tonight's topic. So, why don't you
Mhm.
tell the people, oh, first and foremost, what do they need to have?
A notebook and a
Mm-hmm.
pen.
Mm-hmm.
I already started writing my notes. 'Cause I was
So,
like, this topic is for me.
look, we're letting y'all in on our personal conversation with this
Yes.
one. So warning. So we gonna be going in because we go in on each other when it comes to this. When she sent me
Right.
the topic, I said, "Oh, you preaching to the choir, to the preacher, and to the audience. Like we're gonna be sitting in all seats tonight. So get your pens
Okay.
and papers ready, your phones,
Yeah.
your tablets, your computers, however you
Right.
taking notes. Get ready, get ready. All
Yes.
right. So go
Okay.
ahead.
So tonight's topic is around how to navigate feeling like you're not doing enough, right?
Mhm.
And then how to navigate the desire to want to do more, even when you're
Mhm.
feeling like you're not doing enough. So it's
Mhm.
this constant flow of like, am I doing enough? Am I not doing too much? Am I doing too
Mhm.
much? Or
Mhm.
I want to do more. I should be doing more, but then I'm burnt
Mhm.
out and I'm overwhelmed and I'm
Mhm.
crying and
Mhm.
you got this, that, that. You got 500 tabs open in your phone, literally.
Mhm. Mhm. Draining the battery.
Draining the battery,
Yes.
20 tabs open on the laptop
Mhm.
because your brain, it just constantly clicks and
Yes.
clicks and
Yes.
clicks. So it's like,
Yes.
how do we navigate that?
Mhm.
How do
Mhm.
we turn it off? When
Mm.
do we turn it off?
How?
How?
Mhm.
Yes. When is enough
Mhm.
enough?
What?
When is enough enough? I got 5 projects going on in his head.
Mhm.
5.
Mhm.
When is enough enough?
Yes. Yes. So what made this topic come to mind for you? What was the
Oh, it's
catalyst?
current.
Okay, it's life.
This
It's
is
how
like
life is living right now.
life is lifing.
Y'all, she trying to
Yes.
get free therapy right now. Look, y'all better y'all better get on.
Listen, I'm trying to help the people because I know I'm
Look,
not the only one.
look, Leslie said this topic I'm feeling.
Yes.
Look.
I'm not the only one. So I said, let me help the people out.
Mhm.
It's the time where everybody feels that pressure,
Yep. Yep.
right? Because we're ending in 2023.
Yes.
We're trying to end the projects and then start anew,
Mhm.
2024.
Mhm.
The reset is real, and
Mhm.
it's like you want to end strong, then you want to start
Mhm.
even stronger.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah. So the
She said,
the,
"I'm
the
just
topic,
tired just talking about it." So this,
oh,
okay.
exhale,
So
inhale,
so
exhale. Like,
this wasn't client motivated. This was
no,
personal
this was
motivated.
personal.
Personally. Okay, this is
Yeah. You said you asked for the topic, and I
yes.
said, what's the topic tonight? And it was like, what is that? I was like, that's it.
Mhm. All right. So I encourage people to write the 3 questions down, and they're the same ones that are on the flyer. You know, am I doing enough? That's the first question that we have to ask ourselves. The second question is, am I doing too much? Right? And then the third question is, am I not doing enough? All right. And I would say, add a fourth question, am I doing enough?
Wait, say that again. Because that's how
So,
you said you repeated the same questions.
am I doing too much?
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. So the first question is, oh, I'm sorry, I did repeat it. The first
Okay.
one is, am I doing enough?
Hmm.
Right. The second
Hmm.
one is, am I doing too much?
Hmm.
And the third question is, do I need to do more?
Okay.
I had repeated the first one. So I
Gotcha.
guess that was the Leslie got her pen and paper
The
going.
emphasis.
Look, that was the infamous you doing enough.
Right.
That's it. Show's over. Look, public service now. What they say? PSA, you're doing enough.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Right.
Right. But we have to answer these questions because these questions show up in our lives all the
Hmm.
time. And so we also have to be able to say in what areas of our lives. So
Okay.
this is why the point of reflection becomes very important because we have multiple facets of our lives. In a wellness wheel, there's about 10 or 11 different, excuse me, 9 or 10 different categories of wellness when you
Mhm.
look at your entire life.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
A lot of times people will talk about work life balance
Yeah.
and they're just thinking two things, but life consists of a lot.
Mhm.
And so we have to peel it back and look at it. All right. So when we're asking these questions, excuse me, about whether or not we're doing enough or am I doing too much, we have to answer that question in each of the areas of our life.
Mm.
Go ahead. What's going through your mind?
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
So I'm like mom, work, or
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur. I guess work or
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur would be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship,
Mm-hmm.
social. What would be the
Mm-hmm.
other categories?
Mm-hmm. So let's go. Let's get them down. Here we go. Physically,
Okay. Mm.
okay. So
Mm.
when we're talking about the physical, obviously we're talking about food, we're talking
Mhm.
about exercise, right? So we have to take a look at that. So are you taking care of your body? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you
Mhm.
taking care of your mental well-being as well? So too much, enough, need to do more.
Mhm.
Each of these things becomes very important. So physical wellness is the first. Then we have emotional wellness. Are you taking time to relax? Are you taking time to reduce stress? Are you taking time to take care of yourself or are you always putting other people first? I can hear some people now going, nope,
Mhm.
haven't done that.
Mhm.
Everybody else comes first, right?
Mm.
So you got to look at that and you have to pay attention to how are you managing your emotional wellness? Are you managing your
Mhm.
emotional wellness? All right. So we'll go into talking about things you can do for each of them. But first, let's
Mhm.
just get the categories on the table,
Mhm.
right? Then, as you talked about work, so, right, are you an entrepreneur? Are you working for someone else? Are you working with other people? Are you working by yourself? Do you have a career? Do you have two more than one job?
Mhm.
Right? Even as an entrepreneur, do you have more than one business? What are
Mhm.
those right. I'm just tired even thinking about it.
See myself, I think I place everything under an umbrella,
Uh-huh.
but they're different entities.
Right. An
Like there's
umbrella.
merchandise, and there's this,
Uh-huh.
but I think of it like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I just do therapy, but like, no, I do
Mm-mm.
other things.
Exactly. And see that girl, get the pillow and lay on the couch. Come on,
Listen,
lay on the proverbial couch here.
it's like lay your head on my
That's
pillow.
right. Come on, here we go. Les, we got her. She's singing. We got her. Right. So we have to look at this. The other another category is academics. Some people are in
Mhm.
school and or continuing their professional development.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So we have to take a look at how much time are we spending there? Are we thinking
Mhm.
about going back or have we already gone back? So we got to take a look at that. Then we have to look at social wellness.
Mhm.
What is social wellness? This is looking at your relationships, right?
Mhm.
Do you have a social life? Do you want a social life? Do you like the social life that you have? Are you craving a different type of social life? Again, go
I'm more like yes,
ahead.
no.
Do you belong to any clubs, any
Mhm.
organizations? I know some people that belong to sororities and
Yeah.
fraternities and responsibilities that are there or professional organizations. All
Mhm.
right. So you have that. So now that's just the first four.
Mm.
Like I said, there's at least 9 to 10. And so then there's creative wellness.
Mm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What are you doing in that space, right? Are
Mhm.
you participating in any arts or cultural experiences? Are you doing any of these things yourself? Any dance, any
Mm-hmm.
music? As you know, I used to take singing lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you playing an instrument? Are you doing any creative writing? Where is your creativity, and or how is your creativity being fed at this point in time?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have your spiritual wellness.
I'm just
So,
tired.
so your beliefs, your values, right? How are you creating purpose in your life? For some people, they may be volunteering. So, how is
Mm-hmm.
that being added on? In spiritual wellness, some people may add religious wellness
Yeah.
specifically. You know, I think about some of my people who are Jehovah's Witness and they
Mm-hmm.
go out and they do their pioneering, right? That's on top of everything else that they do, but that's a commitment that
Mm-hmm.
they've made to their religious and spiritual wellness. So, but that's got to fit into their life some way, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, then there's environmental wellness. How are you taking care of those things around you? So, you got your house, you have, for those people who have gardens, like today, I was like, oh, I need to go outside and rake the leaves. And then it was just like, I really don't have time in my day to rake the leaves, but I need to get these leaves
Mm-hmm.
raked, right? So, how are we taking care of our environmental wellness? And then we got that one called financial wellness. And that lays a lot of people out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, oh, Leslie had put up here when you were singing, welcome to the mic. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see that.
I see it now.
Okay. So, yeah. So then you have your financial wellness. So, are you in a place where you want to be financially? If not, what do you need to do in order to grow and be more financially well or healthy
Mm-hmm.
in that space? And then you have your intellectual wellness, right? And that's separate from your academic because you're not in school as far as getting grades and CEUs and things like that. This is just you being open to learning new skills or concepts, different activities,
Mm-hmm.
reading, and so forth. So, all right, I know I've said a mouthful. Your turn.
It's nothing to say. Like, it's not enough time in the day. It's
Hmm.
to wrap my head around all of those things. Like, this is the question. It's a real question. Are we
Okay.
supposed to tap into all of those things every day?
Mm-hmm.
Or like be considerate of all of those things
Mm-hmm.
every day? Because
Mm-hmm.
me myself, like personally, like I don't think that I'll be able to do that because
Mm-hmm.
some days, finances may take over
Mm-hmm.
intellect
Yep.
or social will take
Mm-hmm.
over. Some, it's like it just
Mm-hmm.
varies from day to day. But like on a conscious level, would it be
Mm-hmm.
best practice to like have a running list of,
Well,
your wellness wheel?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's it. I think you could create a checklist. You could do a wellness checklist. You could create a wellness wheel. I mean, you can just Google them and
Right.
print one out, right? But you could check off and see what have you focused on
The
today,
most. Mm-hmm.
right? And you could give yourself a week and see what you're focusing on the most and
Mm.
see
Well, I
where,
can already pin that out. Go
right,
ahead.
but see what things are not getting attention,
Mm.
right? And that
Mm.
is possibly throwing off some of the balance. And
Mm.
that is also possibly what's keep not why you are not feeling rejuvenated, because
Mm.
you may be overextending. This is the too much. You may be overextending your energy in one or some areas and not tending to the other areas,
Mm. Okay,
right?
that makes sense. Mm.
So for me, I thrive in creativity. Creativity excites me, it energizes me. Hence, right, Froggy T and Bunny, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. If
Yes.
somebody's up, look,
Don't call me.
right, hop on a Zoom. Look.
I got on one Zoom call. I made the mistake. I think what were you on a lot? I don't know,
It was,
Instagram or something. She sent
it,
me, I think you sent me an Instagram something, a DM. And I text her like, why are you up? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm creating. Are you up? Hop on this Zoom with me. I got one eye open, scarf on. It's pitch black dark in my room. And she's showing me
that's right.
Froggy Tea and Honey.
Yes. And it was fantastic for
It was
baby.
either Froggy Tea and Honey or the
It was Froggy
360.
Team Bunny. It was Froggy Team Bunny.
Well, then it must have been more than one.
It probably was. Now that's probably true.
Yeah, because I feel like we talked about the 360
Mhm.
model and
Mhm.
rule as well.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. So yeah. So I mean, so that's the thing, right? I know it energizes me. So if I haven't done anything creative, if that part of my wellness wheel hasn't gotten any air,
mm-hmm,
right? If it's flat, then so if we think of ourselves as a car, and each of these are different wheels, do
mm-hmm,
each of them have enough air?
mm-hmm.
Because if they don't have enough air, then your car, quote unquote, yourself, you're going to run a
Lopsided.
little off. You got it.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
got it.
Okay.
So it's important to take a look at each of those. So for those who are just joining us, again, we're talking about the 9/10 dimensions of wellness. And in the wellness wheel, there's these different aspects: physical, emotional, academic, career, social, creative, spiritual or religious, environmental, financial, and intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
And so we it's important that we take a look at each of these, that we recognize what each of these areas mean to us and how they impact us. Go ahead, what's going through your mind?
I just feel low. Like at the moment, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I just feel pulled, but it
Mhm.
makes sense with what you said because as I'm thinking back, there are areas that I have not paid as much attention to, like the physical. Like, of course, I take care of my physical body, but
Mhm.
exercising,
Mhm.
I don't incorporate exercising at all at the moment,
Mhm.
and so that
Mhm.
can, be throwing me off,
Yep.
um, and that energy that I would give to exercising is going towards other things. So
Mhm.
it's probably too
Mhm.
much energy given that it's not
Mhm.
allocated
Mhm.
for that particular
Mhm.
dimension. So
Right.
makes sense.
And right, and so a lot of times people will say work life balance again as if it's just two things like a
Right.
seesaw, right?
Mhm.
But the reality is they're giving too much attention to some aspect of their life because work is a part of your life. It's
Right.
not
Mhm.
work and then life, which is
Right.
why you have to be careful with the wording.
Right.
It's that aspect of your life that may be getting a lot of attention. So, how do you determine if it's getting so much attention? Is if it bumps you from doing other things that
Mhm.
you want to do. Now,
Mhm.
again, each one is personal because there's some people that love their work and that's what
Right.
they would rather be spending their time doing. So,
Mhm.
if you take, for instance, Edmund, he loves his film work,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But it also gives him creativity.
Mhm.
It's also giving him social.
Mhm.
It's
Travel.
also
Mhm.
giving him travel and financial and right. So that his one particular Kadaga project
Mhm.
is meeting so many dimensions
Mhm.
on that wheel. All right. Now, that's not the case for everybody.
Mhm.
So you have to see what's going to fuel each
Mhm.
of those. What's going to put literal air, the breath of life,
Mhm.
into each of those categories for
Mhm.
you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So now the question is, am I doing enough? Right. So that's the first question.
Don't even. Well, sometimes I feel like I question myself in regards to me doing enough with the kids,
Hmm.
right? And I know
Mhm.
that I am doing a lot of things, and I think
Mhm.
that's a trauma response for
Mhm.
me because I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I want them to have a different type of childhood than what I
Mhm.
had. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't want to be like overcompensate, but I want them to have like a very well balanced
Mhm.
childhood and live in
Mhm.
a household that's balanced.
Mhm.
But then sometimes it's like, okay, well, we need to go to Paris. We need to like,
Mhm.
come in with her extravaganzas.
Yes.
So it's like I want to create the memories and things too,
Yes.
and along with the balanced household. So that's where I get that torn, like, okay,
Mhm.
I need to do more, which then
Mhm.
trickles over into work. Like I gotta go harder, which then
Mhm.
trickles over into creativity. Like I got to
Mhm.
create more to bring.
Mhm.
I gotta post more.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So you get it. So right,
yeah.
so just in that, I think anybody listening saw the links in the chain in that case. And energy begets energy.
Mhm.
So it's like the more revved up you get in one space, the more revved up it gets. And then you just keep grinding
Go.
and
Mhm.
grinding and right and going and going. And so you have to be mindful of when have you crossed over from doing enough to doing too much. It's
Mhm.
like the difference between helping and overextending,
Right. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So this is a self-reflective time and a self-awareness time where you have to know when you've crossed over, right?
Mhm.
And again, to the last part, where you need to do more, where you're coming up short and you're trying to front like you really doing something,
Mhm.
and you're not,
Mhm.
you haven't given it your all, you
Mhm.
know what I mean, like you just, it's like, no, that's not it. So this is an honesty check-in. Do you know when you're
Mhm.
being honest with yourself and when you fooling yourself?
Mhm. I think for some people it's hard. Like people that are really like trying, right? So they may not
Hmm.
know. Like
Trying
maybe
what? Trying what?
she might chop my head off.
No, I need to know, what are
Trying
they
what?
trying? Or are they trying to stop? Are they trying to lie? Are
Oh,
they trying to do
trying
more?
to
Trying to do what?
succeed. Trying to succeed.
Okay.
Trying to
Okay.
like embark on, like engage on their goals is basically what I'm saying. So
Okay,
like
fine.
they may not know like the next steps or something, right? So it's a
Mhm.
difference between like lazy and then people
Mhm.
trying and not knowing how to navigate, through.
Mhm.
So I had someone recently and very defeatist like mindset, and it was
Mhm.
like they wanted someone to like hand it to them, right?
Mhm.
And then I had to
Mhm.
like black woman to black woman, like
Mhm.
let me let you know real fast. That's not how that works. You have to
Right.
at least know like your target audience, what you
Mhm.
want to do, how you want to do
Mhm.
it, and then somebody can navigate and help you based off of your,
What you've done.
what you've done or which the research
Right.
that you've done or what you
Right.
want to do.
Yes.
But then it's like people who are genuinely trying. Like sometimes it's me. It's like, okay, am I not like should I be doing more? And I know like I got 34,000
Project.
followers. I
Mhm.
did something right, but
Right.
then it's like,
Right.
okay, what else? Like what more? So it's like
Mhm.
that the difference between
Mhm.
the two. Like, am I being lazy,
Mhm.
or should I be pivoting onto something else?
Mhm.
I know for me, and I was thinking about this when you were just talking. We talked about my body cycle, right? You said
Mhm.
pay attention to the dates of the month or the days in the
Mhm.
month where your
Mhm.
body starts to slow down and
Mhm.
when you are at a peak, right?
That's right.
So like the 20th of the month, I can
Mhm.
always tell. I'm like, I don't want to post nothing.
Mhm.
I don't want to do anything. I want to see my clients like anything outside of my normal is
Right.
like lights out, right?
It's
But
too
then
much.
maybe around the 10th of the month, like around
Mhm.
now, what is this? The
Mhm.
5th? During the
Yep.
5th of the month,
Yep.
I'm like, okay, let's go. Da-da-da. So
Mhm.
I try to, batch content and do all the
Yep.
things when
Yep.
I'm at my peak because
Yep.
when I get to my low in like 10 days,
Yep.
it's going to be like, well, 15 days, it's going to
Yep.
be
It's a
like,
wrap.
it's a wrap. So I
Mhm.
think that's something good to
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
state as well, like paying
Learn.
attention to your body.
Yes.
And I never would have thought about that until you
Yeah.
told me.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
You
I'm
got to pay
sleepy.
attention to your, and you have to pay attention to your energy cycles. And
Hmm.
this is throughout the month as well as throughout the year.
Yeah.
So, years ago, I started realizing that basically, I think I live in the wrong hemisphere and I live in the
Probably
wrong
so.
area, right?
You're supposed to be on
Because
the East Coast.
I'm supposed to be in the motherland.
Right.
So,
Yes, you are.
right, because because my December is like my spring,
Mm.
right? I get very energetic. I get ready to roll. Now, for those who know I'm like this basically
All
all
the
year,
time. That's why
all
I'm
the
like,
time. I know.
I'm
So,
reflecting on the years, like,
right, right. But like I said,
someday.
I'm saying years ago when I first started paying attention to cycles, it was just like, okay, you're really amped, and the rest of everybody else around you is going into
Slowing down.
hibernation,
Right.
and you're coming out like, hey, and it was just like, okay,
Literally.
and what y'all doing?
Right.
And so-
We're going to sleep. It's dark outside.
exactly.
Like, where you going? Calm
And
down.
I know Les is cracking up because Les done done many all nighters with me and
In
movie
December,
nights
it's
and
cold.
everything. Yes, right.
Poor Leslie. Oh my
Everybody last
God.
to sleep, first to get up. So
Mm.
they're like, so it's just like, okay. But when I realized that, I was like, okay, your high season is like November, December, January. She is cracking up.
Mm-hmm.
So like November, December, January, your high season. And it was like, and then I felt myself coming down a little bit. My down is
Mm.
still high, but
Mm.
coming down a little bit, like April,
Mm.
March. And it was just like, oh, you're reverse. And
Mm.
so paying attention to that and learning how to get
I can see that
into,
now. Pretty good.
okay, right,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to
Yeah.
get into that rhythm
Mm-hmm.
and how to make it work for me, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to me trying to accept everybody else's rhythm as
Mm-hmm.
my own, because that wasn't the case. And
Mm-hmm.
then even recognizing, for me, September still functions very much as a new year for me. I follow a school calendar,
Yeah.
right?
Me too. I actually start in August. I follow
Yes,
a college calendar.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, right. So when you recognize that about yourself, so then it was like, oh, okay. Then I recognize I need to take off the month of July, because
Yeah.
at this point I don't have any more energy left to give out
Mm-hmm.
to the world. I have to turn into self.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, encouraging people, pay attention to your cycle throughout the year, but
Mm-hmm.
also, as Dina was saying, pay attention to your monthly cycle as well. Also pay attention to your weekly
And
cycle.
daily.
And yeah, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Daily.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why. So I, for decades,
Mm-hmm.
have tried to work out on Wednesdays.
Mm.
And it seems like Wednesdays I can't work out. And I would think
Mm.
it was something with like motivation and determination and perseverance. And I would try, and it seemed like everything in the world would come in to keep me from working on Wednesday. And I was like, I've been trying for the past 15 years to work out on Wednesdays. I can't seem to work out. And finally it was like, have you ever thought maybe you're not supposed to work out on
Right.
Wednesdays?
Right.
Right? Stop fighting it. Recognize that maybe that's your rest day. The
Mm-hmm.
rest of the week you can go hard, soft, whatever, but Wednesday, just that's your day,
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? And so I had to learn that and accept that about myself. So I feel people listening like, I hadn't paid attention. I
Right.
had one person who they had hard days on Tuesdays, and it
Mm.
was like, let's shift your therapy day to Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the day that you need the most support. There's no
Mm-hmm.
sense in having a hard day on
Mm-hmm.
that day. And it just so happened I
With
had an
no support.
opening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to make that shift. And so then Tuesdays became a day that they looked forward to,
Mm-hmm.
because they knew they were going to get that support.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things where you pay attention and you look at the patterns. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think my rest day is Friday.
Hmm.
Typically, I don't really like to go out on Fridays. I
Hmm.
will, but by Friday, I'm like zonked. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
okay. Unless it's the summertime. It depends on my day
Yep.
on that Friday.
Yep.
But if I have clients that day or I'm like, moving around a lot with the kids, typically I'm like, oh, we could just go to dinner or we could just
Mm-hmm.
like stay
Mm-hmm.
in. But Saturday, Sunday, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
You're
let's jump
refreshed.
on. Right. Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
Monday through Thursday, it's okay. It's not bad. Like I don't really have any
Mm-hmm.
like bad days per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know by Friday, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know for me, Fridays used to be I made that my sacred day. So I
Mm,
used to not have clients on Friday. I used to fast on Fridays.
mm,
That was just my personal rejuvenation. Even when I worked in a school, and I mean, we're almost going 20 years back at this point.
mm,
Um, Fridays was my reflective day. So that was the
mm.
day that I would do a
Notes.
brain dump, note,
Mm,
create,
mm,
whatever I saw needed to be done, harvest,
mm,
process,
mm,
right? All of that Friday. So Fridays have been a special day for me in that way.
mm,
So yeah, so it's learning, right? Again, learning yourself. And if we go back to these questions, Friday was the day that I would ask myself, am I doing enough?
Did I do enough?
Did I do
Mm,
enough this week?
mm,
Right. And so, to your point of, are these things that I should be asking myself daily? You can ask yourself. I know some people who they do the assessments
mm,
regularly, where at the
mm,
end of each day, how was my day? Did I do something creative? Did I exercise? Did I eat healthy? Did I spend any time in nature? Did I do this? Did I do that? And so, depending on what their answers are, and then they set themselves up for the next
the
day,
next day.
right?
Mm,
What do I need to make sure I incorporate?
mm,
Years ago, I had heard a woman, Maisha Sullivan. I'm blanking on her full name, but she does a lot of Kwanzaa
mm,
teaching in the
mm,
Philadelphia and surrounding area. And I remember the first time I heard her speak about Kwanzaa, and she talked about the Nguzo Saba and the Nguzo Saba 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And she had said her and her husband had a listing of the 7 principles, and every day they would go through and see which ones of the principles they had adhered to and live by, and which ones they needed to add the next day.
mm,
And I was so fascinated by that, but it gave their life a structure, and it
mm.
also gave them a point of connection. I'm sure they had many, but it gave them a point of connection and conversation
Right.
at the end of each day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for anyone in any type of relationship, I think these 3 questions: am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? Do I need to do more? These are
Mm-hmm.
great questions to ask self, but
Mm-hmm.
these are great questions to ask each other. So
Yeah.
I know with like taking care of my mom, I'll ask you sometime and you'll be like, you it's enough. It's more than enough.
More,
Right.
more, exceedingly you're doing.
Right, right. But it's that checking in and checking self, because sometimes you don't know. So
Right.
you
And
need
that was to
someone,
my point, right? You sometimes
right.
you don't know. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And so you need somebody who you can trust, who's going to let you know how you're doing, where you need to pick up, where like when we first met, and you was eating that pizza.
Lord, how many times we gonna talk about this? I'm past that,
I
okay?
love pizza. So
Mm. It's a
but
time and a place.
what did I know? But I noticed you
Yeah,
ate the
once I ate the
pizza,
pizza, it was like,
you zonked,
right. I was
eyes
tired.
heavy, moving sluggish. And I'm like, "Hey, did you notice? Are you
Yeah.
drinking any water? I'm not noticing you drinking enough water to flush that out." And so, right, but then doing what was necessary. You like, all right, I'm gonna go get a special water bottle. You and Camille went and got special water
I
bottles.
don't know what a
And
bottle is, but
but look how much you've grown past that water
right.
bottle.
Yes. It's down there somewhere.
And now you're a water drinker.
Mm.
So, but yeah. So go ahead.
No, I mean, this was a really great topic. Not that we're ending it, but it's very just weighing heavy because it's like that overwhelming feeling of like, okay, the need or the thought that you need to do more.
Yeah.
And this helps to like put it into perspective, like, okay, you may be doing enough in one area and you need to,
Mhm.
pick up in other areas. So
Mhm.
just shedding light on that because I know, like I said, I'm not the only one that feels this way. But it's
No.
like, okay, how do we navigate out of it so that we're
Yeah.
not always feeling this constant, you know, burning desire to want to do
Push.
more? It's like, okay,
Right.
what's the cutoff? Like,
Yeah.
so.
I think
Mhm.
so. And a couple things, and I was so glad that you brought it up because we are in the holiday season and people are having family and friends over and extravaganzas and get-togethers and right, do I have enough? Do am I doing enough? Do I need to do more? Should I be inviting more people over to my house?
Mhm.
Should I
How
this,
much should
right?
I spend?
How
Forget.
much should, and notice this keyword should, and
Should.
should is a weighted word. And
Mhm.
so for those who are unfamiliar with weighted words, they're words that cause a lot of pressure. All
Mhm.
right. And so when you use words like should and ought, they are
Mhm.
also words that trigger feelings of guilt and shame.
Mhm.
And so I should ask this person to come over. And then
Mhm.
if I don't ask that person to come over, then I feel guilt, I feel shame, I feel bad. It causes emotional weight.
Right. Mhm.
All right. So one of the things is we have to mind our mouth
Mhm.
and the words that we use. So as soon as we use that word should or ought to, we have to assess what's going on there.
Mhm.
All right. So should I be doing more? All right. I bought each of the kids 5 gifts. I should buy them.
One
Where's
more.
that coming from? Right?
In
Where
my childhood or something. Okay. Mhm.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
now we're starting to look at projection.
Mhm. Because he
And that
only asked. Well, Camille didn't ask for 20 things.
well,
So
Camille was gonna always ask for 20 things.
CJ, he only asked for one thing.
Yes,
But even with that one thing, it's like,
there's
okay,
components.
I can't just get that. I gotta get the whole
Mhm.
set. And
Mhm.
then it's like, well, what's the alternative? Even the alternative is just one thing. But it's like, I can't just get that one thing. I gotta
Mhm.
get this and I gotta get that. So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm. So right, so now you're checking in with self and seeing what is this really connected to
mm,
and connected with. And then when we look at that, then we can make the necessary adjustments. So we have to understand what's driving us,
mm,
right? What is the motivation that's moving us? And what is the hope at the end of it all?
mm,
Right. So, as you said, I want them to have a balanced childhood. I want them to have a childhood that is rich with experiences
mm,
and rich with rich experiences,
mm,
meaning that they have depth and weight and meaning behind them. And I want to make sure they have that moving forward. Okay, fine. How frequent are we talking? Once a month that they have a rich experience, whatever that means. Have you
mm.
checked in with them? What would make it rich for them?
I'm
Or
not
these
asking
are all, or the,
that
and
you know.
not saying that they're going to get every single
Right.
one, but is it
Harry.
yours? Right. Is it, I want to go, okay, this is
Right.
fantastic. Make your list because these are things you're going to need to do for yourself when you get to adulthood.
Right.
Right. We're
Right.
going
Just start now. Just start now.
to just start making your list now, extravaganza queen.
Right.
Right. So,
I could bring her right now. I want to do all the
yes.
things.
So, which is fine because there's some things, right, that she may want to do, and
Mhm.
she's just going to have to delay gratification.
Right. Mhm.
And that's a life lesson too. And
Mhm.
she's going to have patience. And that's a life lesson, right? These are all life skills. So
Mhm.
it's fine. And she creates a list of things that she wants. You know me, I'm down for it. What you want to do?
Mhm.
Okay, that's great. It don't mean we're gonna do it. We may not
Right.
do it, but you
You right.
at some point
Mhm.
will do it. And I will clap you up and be here to listen to it as you go and when you get back.
Mhm.
So, right? And that's fine. So now let's flip it. I've been going, am I doing too much? Am I doing enough? Do you need to do more? We got to be honest.
Mhm.
Where are we not doing more? And be
Mhm.
authentic about that. And what is keeping us from doing more?
No more. Mhm.
Okay. And sometimes we say, I'm tired, or I don't want to do the work.
Mhm.
And that's a real thought, but understand it's not going to get done until you do it. And then sometimes it's a matter of pacing
Mhm.
yourself, right? So when I look at and I say, okay, it is December 5th, 2023. What do I want to see differently on December 5th, 2024?
Mhm.
Because it's coming. It's 365 days from now. Actually, maybe 66 because it's a leap year next year,
Mhm.
right? So I got an extra, I get a bonus day. So now if I set my goals, where am I again? I'm looking at my wellness wheel. I'm
Mhm.
looking at my 10 categories here. Now, the academic one, I'm not interested in per se, but the
Mhm.
intellectual one, I am,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm not interested in going back to school, but you know me, something might catch my attention and I might decide that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
So, and if that's the
But
case,
the academic part could be you teaching.
it could,
Mhm.
it could. Right.
Mhm.
So we look at all of these different areas, and it's just like in teaching, we would call it chunking, which is just
Mhm.
putting it into smaller
Yeah.
pieces. Right. So we look at what do we need to chunk, and in that, what do I need to do? What's my recipe?
Mm.
And so with my recipe, if I know I need to do these 7 things, well, I'll make it 10 just for even sake. These
Mhm.
10 things, then I know I'm doing enough.
Mhm.
Now, if I do those 10 things and I decide to add 5 more, but those 5 more are now moving me out of my energy level, right? It's exhausting me. It's exhausting my finances. It's causing me some sort of distress.
Mhm.
Now I know I'm doing too much.
Mhm.
Okay. It's not coming with that same type of ease and or joy,
Right.
right? This is when people move from having a wedding to becoming bridezilla,
Oh
right? Now,
yeah. Mhm.
you see what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm. You're
It's
doing the
not
most.
you do right. And the most in not a good way,
Mhm.
right? So now it's too much. And then do I need to do more if procrastination is causing you to experience pressure that's
Mhm.
causing you to experience distress?
Right.
You're not doing you're not doing it. All
Mhm.
right. So this is back to the infamous take honest inventory.
Mhm.
So yeah. So I mean, but there's a way for people to find balance, and balance is going to be different for each person,
Right.
and it's going to be different for each goal, and it's going to shift daily.
Right. Because I was gonna say each season.
hmm
Mhm.
But I'm gonna say, because I mean, like for me, I walk, and so I'll get on the treadmill, we'll talk, and I walk 3 miles, right?
Mhm.
And that's average for
Mhm.
me. Now, some days I decide I might want to do 4, and some days I might do 1.5, depending on my day. I
Mhm.
adjust it accordingly, right? And then there's times where the next day my shins might be hurting, and so I did
Mhm.
too much. It
Mhm.
was like I heard my body say stop, but mentally it was like, I want to see, right? Girl, get off. You're doing too much. Okay. And then it's like, do I need to do more? I just did 5 minutes. 5 minutes was not enough. I
Right.
didn't. it just unless I'm getting on and doing 4 minutes of sprinting,
Mm,
I'm not. It's not going to do much for me.
right.
Now, every little bit helps. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to
Mm,
knock myself, but I'm
right.
not going to act like
That was
that
enough.
5 minutes was enough. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
I combine it with something else, fine.
Mm,
But again, this is just my personal body.
right. Mm-hmm.
So go ahead,
Yeah.
thoughts, feelings, questions.
No, I don't have any questions. I think we hit on a lot of things. It does, like I said, it makes complete sense, and
Mhm.
just getting back into alignment with,
Mhm.
well, proper alignment with your body,
Mhm. Mhm.
and just that level of awareness of, you know, the wellness wheel and
Yeah.
dimensions and how to get back on track. And even if you don't know, the wheel is going to help you. So creating that checklist
Yeah.
and going through it, that is definitely something that will help,
Yeah.
and to keep you accountable for,
Yes.
yeah, your well-being.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's it. And I love that, right? And it is being accountable for your well-being. And I think that's it. We have to be conscious
Mhm.
about our well-being. What is
Right.
it that we honestly need? One of the things, again, right? I love to walk. I love to be outside. So when I get a chance to walk outside, that's the ultimate for me because I'm getting the fresh air. I'm getting, right, the nature, the trees. I'm getting all of that. I know that. So that's speaking to my environmental wellness
Mhm.
as well. So, see, just doing that, I end up dealing with environmental wellness. I end up
Physical.
doing physical wellness, spiritual wellness.
Mhm.
If I'm walking with someone, like I say, a lot of times I'm
Social.
talking, I get social. So, see, I've hit four things
Mhm.
in that one activity. And so we have to take a look at that. So sometimes it is a matter of how can I combine some things. Now, there's sometimes like I'll tell you, okay, I got to get off the phone and I got to get this in.
Mhm.
There's other times, right, where I'm walking, and I know a lot of other people do this too. You're listening to podcasts, you're
Yeah.
listening to YouTube videos, right? You're listening,
Motivational.
right. So you're getting that intellectual piece in there as well. Again, depending on what you're listening to, there's intellectual, there's academic, there's career stuff. There's
Mhm.
there's ways to combine it to make sure you're getting what it is that you need. You just need to be aware
Yeah.
of that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah. And again, like I said, learning physiologically what it feels like when you're doing too much because there is an energy pool
Mhm.
that you experience. From a scripture, from a Christian Bible scripture piece, I think about the woman with the blood issue when she touches the hem of Jesus, and Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And they're like, "Jesus, everybody touching you. What you talking about?" He was like,
Mhm.
I felt energy drain from me.
Mhm.
Right? That's the doing too much. Like, wait a minute, that was that was a little bit too much of
A
a
little
pool.
too much. Yeah.
Right. It was
Mhm.
and so you have to know that when you cross over, sometimes you may feel ill in the stomach. You may start to feel nauseated. I know if I stay online too long,
Mhm.
from scrolling or anything, I literally start to feel nauseous.
Mhm.
And so energetically, it's gotten too much of my time and
Mhm.
attention. And as soon as I
Mhm.
feel that, I have to. All right.
Right.
Sometimes people get headaches.
Mhm.
Sometimes you find yourself starting to get irritable. That's when you know you've done too much. Sometimes you're just, right, you can't keep your eyes open. It's
Yeah.
like enough. You have to
Mhm.
know you feel your disposition changing.
Yeah.
All right. You're no longer excited about what you're doing. You're irked and irritated.
Mhm.
It's too much.
Yeah. Mhm.
What's going through your mind?
No, I just know for me, when I hit my limit, I just feel like a lot of pressure. Like,
Hmm.
it's like this extreme feeling of like overwhelm, and I just want to like cry to release it because it's like it's trying
Hmm.
to get
Mm-hmm.
settled, but it's like it can't until I like
Yeah.
acknowledge like what it is, and then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, let me move some things around. Let me take a nap, or let me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
disconnect from social
Mm-hmm.
media. Let me go to the drive and sip by
Mm-hmm.
water.
Mm-hmm.
But until I acknowledge it, it's like it's a build up. It's almost like a
Yeah.
tea kettle where it's
Yep.
like build up, build up, build up, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I can't take it anymore.
That's
So
right.
now that I know that's the feeling, I try to kind of
Yes.
like not suppress it, but just handle it, like shift.
Before it
Okay, if
gets
I'm
there.
before it gets there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Leslie put here, she said the wellness wheel was a great reminder in knowing what days are better or not my best time to do something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So important. So
Yeah.
important. Yeah, so right, so you learn that about yourself, and again, each person is different.
Mhm.
So, but it's important for you to recognize your physiological responses
Right.
to things. And then
Mhm.
there's some things that you do where it energizes you, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, right, it's fuel in the tank. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I haven't pushed over into
Right.
doing too much. I'm still doing enough. I'm fine with it. And then
Mhm.
there's those times where you recognize I haven't made any progress on anything I'm working on because you ain't done nothing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so then you have to ask yourself, is it really a goal right
Mm.
now? Right? Is it something
Right.
that you want to accomplish now? And how do you decide if something is a goal? And I know we're getting ready to close up. One of the
Mhm.
things that I say is when it's all said and done,
Mhm.
and you sitting there talking about things that you've done in your life, is this something where you'll be fine if somebody says, I thought you said you wanted to ride a hot air balloon? It was like, oh, it was just something I thought about, but I'm all right.
Mhm.
Or is it one of those things where you're like, dang, I woulda, coulda, shoulda, and you
Mhm.
didn't do it and you have a regret
Right.
attached
Yeah.
to it. And if it's
Mhm.
something that you feel like, if it's all said and done, you be like, Doc, did you ever make it to Bali? I'm be feeling some type of way.
Oh my God.
If that answer is no, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Versus if you be like, did you make it to Hawaii? And be like, oh, no, I ain't make,
Mm.
it didn't mean that much to me
Mm.
to get there. So you have to ask yourself some of these goals. How much does it actually mean to you?
Me. Mhm.
Yeah. And time goes by very quickly,
Yeah.
you know. I think COVID, even though for some people it seemed to last very long, for me it was just like, dang, that went by that fast, And now
Mhm.
if we think about, we're getting ready to go on 4 years away from 2020. It
Mhm.
doesn't seem, I mean, yes, we went into 2021 with COVID restrictions, but
Mhm.
the original
The onset.
shutdown, right? Well, you stop and think it's been 4 years since I was in Ghana.
Mm.
That's like, birth the kindergarten.
Right.
That's right. It's just like,
Mhm.
okay, it goes by very, and how much has life changed in that amount of time?
Right.
So,
Mm.
so we encourage you all to make sure you are being reflective during this time and not overextending yourself. We
Yeah.
don't want you to do it anytime. And I'm saying, especially now, it's holiday time. It's a joyous time. I mean, really, every day is a joyous day. It's it's an opportunity.
Extra. It's an extra
Yes,
joyous
it's
day.
extra joyous, right? You're spending time with loved ones, family, friends, or choosing to spend time with yourself and taking
Mhm.
advantage of when the streets are quiet because things are
Mhm.
closed, right? It's that time. And again, we encourage you, you can move like this 365 days a year. We're here for it. So,
Mm.
but make sure you find your rhythm
Yeah.
and live within your rhythm. In the infamous tales of Froggy T, The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, Bunny talks about finding her rhythm and
Mhm.
hopping at her own pace, right? She's moving with the knowing of who she is and being in alignment and balance with self. So,
Yes.
all right, announcements on your end, books, things coming up. What's going on?
So
Some
I have
slick
two books.
events. Go ahead.
I have two books. One is a 30-day self-love challenge. It's a
Mhm,
journal. It takes you through
mhm.
30 days of self-love with self-love activities. My other book is How to Heal from a Heartbreak, which is a very quick journal as well. It takes you from like, heartbreak to heal. Mm,
Mhm.
that's another book.
It sure is. I'm glad you heard it.
Right. Heartbreak to heal.
Yes.
Also we have the abundant dinner coming up. We have two dates for
Mhm.
the abundant dinner. January the 6th and January the 13th. I broke it down because the logistics was getting too crazy, and with the inclement weather that we
I
are
know.
preparing to have, I didn't want to
Mhm.
lose out any money. So
Yes.
we broke it down to two regular restaurant reservations. So
Here we
the
go.
6th and the 13th are the two
Mhm.
abundant dinners. I don't know if
Mhm.
you noticed, but I did create some new merch.
Mhm.
So my tagline, which is self-love is a lifestyle, I have new merchandise available. If you follow me on social media, Instagram, and I don't think it's on, oh, it's on TikTok as well.
Okay.
Dina Davis underscore LSW. The first link in my bio, you can purchase new merchandise from, I guess, the Blueprint for Self-Love. So that's it for me.
Very, very good. All right. And for me, you all know I have my books, Live by the Spirit.
Mhm.
We have volume one, excuse me, be very clear. Volume two shall be coming at some point. There is The Greatest Soul Journey, which I'm excited. It just, I redid it. So, second edition is
Okay.
out. So not a lot of changes, but it's now
Mhm.
underneath my publishing company, Planner's
Gotcha.
Knowledge. So I'm super excited. So that's now live.
Okay.
And then of course I have my Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny. There's Feeling Feelings,
Mhm.
Froggy Foo and Mungu, which is the one that just came out at the beginning of October. And this is
Mhm.
just the proof
Yeah.
um, piece that's there. So for people looking like, what's that gray line going through there? Those are my proofs. Bunny Gets Bullied and the original, the one that started it all, The Reunion.
Mhm.
So when I was actually, I see that I got an email from my illustrator today about one of the ones that'll be coming out next year. So there's more
Okay.
to come. So if you are not following me or us, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. You can be sure also to hit the replay
Yeah.
and share this with other people. And we will be back on the third Tuesday of this
Yeah.
month. I will be live again on this Thursday.
Live
This
little thing.
yes, I stay live. So this Thursday, Sister for Harmony, and with special guests, and that's at 7 p.m. this
Mhm.
Thursday, Eastern Standard Time on this station. Ask Dr. Walls 525. We will be joined by special guest Anna McPherson of Modern Relics. So I
Mhm.
wear a lot of her jewelry. Like this is her ring. I'm not giving y'all the finger, y'all. So this is one of the rings that she created, handcrafted. She does all
Mhm.
of her jewelry herself. Every piece is unique and it's
Mhm.
amazing. So we're going to be talking with her about her jewelry, but also about mentoring because this is one of Edmund's mentees. He's
Mhm.
been mentoring her for years, and she's also an architect.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about that as well and what it's like to be a woman of color and be an architect. And then I'm gonna have her come on the flowering fashionista because she's got a
That
whole
would be
style and
yes.
flair, right? Very
Mhm.
stylish of her own. So I'm gonna have her on that. And let me take a look at my calendar real quick, y'all, because I have a couple of shows coming up. I know. Let me see here. Then next week, next Wednesday, I have Vanessa Newton coming on, and she'll be on at 1 p.m. on the 13th. And Vanessa is an illustrator and an author. Um, and she has a lot of merchandise. She was picked up by Target.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's the one who, when I asked you when you go to Target, please take, and you sent me the
Mm.
pictures.
Okay.
So please, y'all, go to Target. She's in all Targets across the country. Her name is Vanessa Newton, and she's an illustrator. Wrapping paper, boxes, ornaments, all her stuff is in there. So please, please, please pick up some of her stuff for those who will be wrapping gifts at this time. I know for a while there, a lot of her stuff was sold out,
Yeah.
which is also a great thing too.
Mhm.
But yeah, take a picture next to it, send it to me. I'll send it to her. That'll
Mhm.
make her, tickle her like nobody's business. But yeah, so I'll be speaking with her next Wednesday about her books and her illustrations. And then next Friday on the 15th, I'll be talking with a set of sisters,
Mhm.
Mary and Annie, and they're both authors as
Okay.
well. And they do paranormal and um, wolves and different things like that. So a different type of genre. So that'll be on the 15th at 4 p.m. And then I have some flowering fashionista shows getting ready to come up. So get ready, get ready. So we will see you again as always until we meet again. God bless and continue to tap into your greatest.
Blueprint.
All right, y'all. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.